Won't load on YouTube. Like, I can't even hit the YouTube API. That's how down it is.
Okay, I'm just gonna load into Mixer and watch from that thing because apparently my Twitch app is just being a pain in the backside.
Hang out with the mixed screens.
Yes. Fuck you for not saying that when we were live, so we can get a show title out of that.
Yeah, sorry.
Come
up with all the good ones on the break.
That deserves a show title, and I'm sure Nymph would agree with me.
Yeah.
We can just edge it back in there, whatever.
Yeah.
Then it feels forced, though. That's the problem.
It only feels forced if you make it forced.
I was about to make a really bad joke.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm glad I didn't make that joke.
I added some new games in my collection here this weekend. The Technomancer.
Ooh. Someone got it physically?
It was like $10. Also, disc is clearly loose. Thank you, Amazon, again. And, also loose, Yoku's Island Express. On both consoles. This one's not loose.
How much was that one? Well, that tells you exactly who was the better company. Microsoft with their solid cases and Sony with their knockoff Blu-ray ones.
The thing that drives me crazy about the Microsoft ones, the disc is on the wrong side. It still drives me crazy.
Wait, what?
It's been a standard for the whole entirety of DVDs and Blu-rays. You put them on the right side. Microsoft wants to put them on the left.
And to be fair, I've had Microsoft games shipped here, and they were also loose.
Yeah, I have
so
too.
It's all in how they're handled.
Almost anything I get from Microsoft or from Amazon is loose. All three of those games were between $10 and $15. So
well, that's not bad.
Wanted to support Yoku's Island Express more because it's a really great game. And the Switch physical version was like $45. So no thanks.
Oh wait, Nintendo tax.
Yeah, didn't want to support it that badly.
Yeah, I mean, I can support it. I bought it on 2 consoles digitally, so now I have both of those. I bought it on Switch and PS4 digitally, so now I have it on PS4 and Xbox physically.
Well, that's good.
I feel like, so for Yoku's Island Express, I feel like I wanted to have that in collection because I really like it. And like, there's no big patches or anything that fixed it after the fact. I feel like the Technomancer deserves a spot in my collection because
you know it's going to vanish.
No, because I feel like by the time I finish it, I'm either really going to love it or I'm really going to hate it. And either way, it needs to be in my collection.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to achieve a milestone of some sort.
Yeah, like there's games in my collection where it's sort of like, I have this game in my collection and I really hate it. Like it's just, I was really looking forward to it and it's just a pile of garbage. So far, Technomancer, not the case.
I think I've got a couple like that.
I need to play it more though. The problem with the games like this is I feel like I have to sit down and play it for like an hour at a time.
Yeah, to get anywhere with it.
Yeah, like I want to finish at least one side mission, or I want to at least make progress in something.
This is actually a problem I've been suffering from, where it's like my wife started playing Red Dead Redemption 2 again. It's like, oh, the game looks so great, I should really go play it, but I don't have 6 hours to sit down and just play Red Dead.
Right.
And I'm gonna tell you right now, only start playing Red Dead 2 when you have the time to play the whole thing.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Because the controls are such crap that I tried picking it up again about a month ago, and I couldn't remember what did what. That's how I ended up with those Twitter posts about me being kicked by a horse because I punched it by accident trying to mount the stupid thing.
Yep. Red Dead. Man. Okay, you guys ready to kick this thing off?
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
Puff, puff. Okay.
I've got to see the magic dragon somehow.
That's right. Okay. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpeer.
Hello.
And the Nymph.
Hello.
Quick plug here at the beginning. Oh God, it's almost E3 time. So
No. Don't say the cursed two letters like the letter and number.
E3, the specter approaches. As has been customary on the Discord server, we now have the E3 2019 channel. As such, as we are getting older and getting more and more busy, a lot of us don't have time to watch the live streams as they happen. I'm usually the only sucker that is because I have to do the show notes. But we have a channel over there. Keep all your E3 stuff in there so we don't have any spoilers happening in the main thread. But we will talk about it. E3 starts this time, literally right now, next week. So, not episode 607, but episode 608, we will cover all the E3 stuff. The dust will have settled, everything will have come out, and we have all the trailers and all the live streams captured and all that, and we'll record probably 3 hours of E3 stuff. So.
Yep, and I usually try and go in as blind as I can.
Yeah.
So, like, the Death Stranding trailer gameplay reveal that just happened is, generally speaking, that's an E3 reveal, and they even talk about something being shown at E3. But I haven't seen that because it's 2 weeks before the show, and I'm just going to ignore everything and then see what shows up at the show.
You're just going to see that trailer again in 2 weeks. So
yeah. The question is, whose stage do I see it on?
I think you know which one you see it on.
I haven't even seen the trailer yet. I just saw the picture of Kojima holding up the collector's edition. That was special.
Yeah, we'll talk about Death Stranding very shortly in news stories, but so E3 is right around the corner. So. Get ready for that in a week and then 2 weeks. That'll help us. Yeah. All right, let's get into what you've been playing this past week. Moonpier.
Okay, start with the most recent one, Sniper Elite version 3. I think it's just Sniper Elite 3, but there's so many of these games now. I literally beat the co-op campaign today with my wife.
Is this the remastered one that just came out, or...?
No, that's the Sniper Elite 1 remaster, I think.
Or 2.
And Sniper Elite 4 came out a short while ago, like last year. And then the Sniper Elite Army Trilogy, or Sniper Army Trilogy, which is a different game, I believe, made by a different studio.
Right, and then there's the Zombie Army Trilogy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay.
It's a confusing lineage.
Yeah, I'm picking that up.
Yeah. We basically played the game on the easiest difficulty, and we went around and we were stealth as far as we could go. Mm-hmm. But then when things got loud, we went loud.
Right.
So it's one of those games where when it's on the easiest difficulty, you can literally get shot at by a tank, and it takes away one segment of your 6-segment health bar. So I was like, okay, sure. We're just gonna sit here and take all of these bullets like wonderful, wonderful people. So it was, you know what, it's fun. We didn't have the proper X-ray mode on because we were playing it in co-op, so we didn't get to see bullets rattling around rib cages or anything like that. Right. But that's fine. I don't need to see lungs getting exploded every single time I shoot somebody. Yeah. I did do, I think it's Charlie's challenge, which is to do a gonad shot from 100 meters away.
Right.
Sure, I will take that achievement for that ridiculous shot. That's fine. But it's a fun game. The controls are awkward. They're very, very squirrely. Like, it's a little awkward to play, but at the same time, I don't care. Going in with high-powered rifles and shooting people in the dome, it's got that satisfying, really loud sniper rifle shot noise when you fire. And then it's got that satisfying wet thud when it actually makes contact with people.
Right.
So you know what? I'm perfectly okay with playing this on casual. I might go back and do it on authentic just for poops and giggles.
At least see what it's like.
Oh, but what it's like is, here is the wind, here is your elevation. Now do math and figure out where you need to shoot. That's what it comes down to.
Man.
It's a little ridiculous. It's one of the few first-person shooters where you have to do math.
Right.
Like, that's kind of ridiculous, but also amazing if you want to play it that way. But there's just the worst German accents in English ever. Like, the worst, because all of these games seem to be set during World War II. Right. Because that's when you get the legendary sniper things. And there was a moment in one of the missions where I literally said to my wife, I bet you this guy's about to get Saving Private Ryan. And he did. And it's a little tropish and predictable.
Sure.
It's stupid fun.
Yeah.
So, who cares? It's Sniper Elite. Everybody knows what they're getting into at this point. Okay, what else? Dead by Daylight. I only played a little bit of Dead by Daylight this week. Didn't manage to play any multiplayer games, mostly because I was off the machines and in bed usually by 11:30 this week, so no late nights for me, unfortunately.
No late nights with the killers.
No.
Any news about them killers?
They're scary.
Just the one killer, actually.
No, they're all killers, dude.
I've been watching a lot of Hot Fuzz lately.
Hot Fuzz is a great movie.
Any luck catching them swans? It's just one swan, actually.
Just go away. Especially considering you're quoting, I think that's Stephen Merchant as well, who's like 9 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's a great movie. But moving on. It's Dead by Daylight. I've talked endlessly about this so far on the show. Play the game. It's great. It's on Game Pass, and the DLC is extraordinarily cheap for a lot of them. And they're always doing like little sales for the bonus characters. The ones you might struggle with sales on are the licensed people, because they're licensed people, and usually that's more expensive. But no, it's Dead by Daylight. It's fun. I like running around and killing people and putting people into a dream state and hearing the 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you thing. And I think I've decided that the most OP killers in there are specifically killer skills. Freddy's got one where literally if someone's in a dream state and they are more than 20 meters away from you, you see them. Like, you literally see people's outlines.
Wow.
It's a little overpowered. And there's another one who's a nurse. And no matter where they are, if someone is being healed, you see them.
Jeez.
It's like, if you put the time in to be a killer, you can be incredibly overpowered. But the same could be said about the survivors too. Like, you can do the same thing with them. Please see my wife's level 700 Dwight Fairfield for an example of how to unlock every single perk in the game. But it's just a good backwards and forwards. The one downside to it is I did get trapped in a 45-minute match with a killer who just didn't want to kill us. And was just putting us down, picking us up, basically trying to get as much experience as they could. My wife came up with the idea that they're probably going for the achievement, because there's an adept achievement for each character. Basically, you have 3 unique perks per character, a bunch of generic perks on top of that, and if you are a survivor and you use only that character's 3 unique perks and then escape, you get an achievement, and it's like Adept Meg, Adept Dwight, Adept whatever.
Right.
You do the same thing for the killers, except they changed the killers thing now, where you need to get a merciless victory with the killer, which means you have to get so many points in, like stopping people from doing the generators and so on and so forth. Like, there's basically on the XP bar, there's 2 pips, and I can usually get halfway through the killers like rating bar every match, no problem. But that extra 4 things to get to that second pip is so difficult. And now you have to hit that second pip to get the Killer's Adept achievement.
Oh wow! So you think they were just farming for that?
Yeah, farming the chasers, farming whatever it was, just so they could try and get to that second notch, just so they can get the achievement. I should probably go and check that person's gamer tag and see if they got that achievement.
Because if not, then you could be.
Because I know they played as the Huntress, and they also sent me a message right afterwards saying GG, which I get more messages playing Dead by Daylight than I do with anything. It's like GG, you suck, trash noob, so on and so forth. Like,
one of those are good at least.
I just get so many messages, and there's a lot of people on there who, if you're doing dailies, people understand it. Like, I think I was a killer and playing against 4 people, killed 2 of them and then 2 more, and they were playing in an odd way. So I literally just sent them a message and are you guys achievement hunting?
Right.
And they responded back to me no, dailies. So I chased one of them around for 2 minutes to let them get their daily done.
Right.
And then the other one, I let them heal themselves over and over again to get their daily done.
See,
and then we ended the
community
game.
helping community.
It is.
Killers helping killers.
And it's one of those things where it's like the people who play that are either genuinely nice people or they're Destiny players and just a-holes.
Yeah. Hey, most Destiny players are okay. It's just the Gambit players.
I don't know. You play Destiny, so I don't believe that for a second.
How dare you?
Coach Jamal in chat actually asked, is there any reason to play Friday the 13th if you had Dead by Daylight? No.
Yeah. I mean, Friday the 13th, unfortunately, because that lawsuit is pretty much dead.
It's dead in water right now. And honestly, it's the fact that it's a 13-person lobby, which you could probably still jump in and get 13 people, but then you're looking at 13 people trying to all work together to make the goal. The escape method's different. It's genuinely a fantastic game. Like, I love the effects on it. I love the feel and the style of Friday the 13th. But it feels like Dead by Daylight came in and stole its lunch, which is funny because I was the opposite. I was like, screw Dead by Daylight, I love Friday the 13th. Right. And then we started playing Dead by Daylight, and well, okay, it's a 5-person lobby. It's quick. The matches don't have to go forever. It's a fun little game to play in short bursts, and you can be in and out relatively happy and relatively quickly as well. I think Dead by Daylight's the way to go. Just because you don't have, like, even just a lobby, like a 5-person lobby versus a 13-person lobby is something.
13 is nuts. Well, plus it's on Game Pass now, and it was free on PS4 a couple months ago.
And let me tell you, if you're playing as a killer, now that it's on Game Pass and it was on PS Plus, let me tell you all about the scrubs who don't know how to play, and you can just mow them down.
Yep, get all those blood points.
I feel bad. Because I'm a pretty good, I'm an above average killer in that game.
I just need that on a bumper sticker. I'm an above average killer.
But I'm not bad at the game by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, you can tell when someone's only just started and you just like dead. It's almost as if I was a killer and T-Bomb Rocks was a survivor. I love you, T, but you suck right now because you don't have the experience in the game yet.
Right.
But, you know, it's play Dead by Daylight.
Yeah.
No, Friday the 13th.
Go get it. Hit up Moonpair on Xbox Live.
Yes, exactly. That's my name and that's my gamer tag.
That's right.
So if you see me, hit me up. Which, by the way, I should apologize. I'll do it on the show. I'll apologize to Brain Eater for not getting his party message because I was in that stupid game for like 45 minutes with the troll killer when he sent me a party invite, and it was like 11:20, and I was like, I want to go to bed.
Yeah, I need to go to sleep.
I need to escape or die. To the point where I literally tried to die, and he wouldn't let me die.
Ugh.
It's okay, moving on from those two games. I started. Now, I'm using the word started here because I'm not far into it. Outer Wilds. The Outer Wilds.
I did too.
So, where have you gotten up to so far?
I've started the loop. So
I haven't even got that far yet. I got to the moon.
Yeah, so if you finish the tutorial, if you've launched your spacecraft, your hilariously derelict spacecraft, you've started the loop. So every game lasts 22 minutes, and you're supposed to figure out as many puzzles as you can in that time frame. I guess the end game, is sort of figuring out all of them and sort of figuring out why the game is in a loop. But I am nowhere close to that.
So I got to the moon on the main planet you start on.
Where there's that guy sitting there alone.
Yep, and I started translating the ruins in that place.
Yep.
My next point of action was going to be flying to the southern pole on one of the next planets.
Okay.
There's something apparently there.
I haven't been there yet.
I haven't bumped into the loop yet because I literally got back to my ship and was like, I'm just going to quit I don't know if I've saved or not. I'm guessing staring into that stupid statue is what saves it.
I think it saves pretty frequently. I've quit out and come back in a couple of times, and if I wasn't doing anything important, it spit me back to the beginning of the game, like right outside that lift, and you already have the launch codes, so you just go take off again. There doesn't seem to be a lot of planets, so I don't think you really lose progress as far as I can tell.
It feels a little bit like Tacoma to me.
Yes. Yeah.
Where it's very much a first-person storytelling game. Like it's don't get excited, Nymph. It's not about the spaceship flying. It's not about trading with foreign colonies.
I was gonna say, I don't need another space game right now.
No, it's very much.
Don't worry,
like,
you're fine.
The spaceship doesn't really control that well, and whenever you lock onto a planet, you just hit up on the D-pad, and it just sort of takes you there. Like it's very much about. It's much more about the story, why you're trapped in this loop, and you're the only one that realizes that you are. And sort of figuring out puzzles on each one of the planets. Like, I landed on a different planet that had a ton of those little plates where you can translate on it. So I'm sort of figuring out, like, okay, up here is a library, and down here's another place. And I accidentally misunderstood one of the signs, so I hopped in this, like, launcher thing that launched me thousands of meters out into the middle of space, and I died. So that's very clearly a wrong turn I took.
I broke my ship. Like the very first time I launched it, I broke the landing gear.
Yep. And thankfully you just hop out, you hold X or something. And weird thing in this game, though, it doesn't use the A button to accept anything. It just uses the X button.
The A button is matching velocity.
Yep. And jumping.
Yes, but it's got this really weird thing where when I damaged my ship, I took off from the planet. I wasn't paying attention to what was going on. I was trying to figure out the speed and everything else. Is it just me, or do you accelerate like wicked fast?
Yes. It's 0 to 60 in like 1.2.
It's 0 to 60 light meters a second? Come on.
Because it's fast.
I took off and I was like, oh, there's the moon. It's not that far away. I'm just going to head towards it and I'll be fine. And then something clipped my ship and damaged the landing gear. While that happened, I held A to match my match velocity with the moon. And I was like, okay, so it's going to take me a couple of minutes probably for me to land on the moon. So I'm going to get out and I'm going to attempt a spacewalk and fix the landing gear while I'm waiting for this landing on the moon thing. I got out my ship, I started to fix the landing gear, and then fell flat on my back onto the moon.
Yep.
And then the ship landed on top of me.
Yep, that sounds about right.
I was like, okay, so that took me less than 2 seconds to get from floating in space to landing on this moon. So
yeah,
sure, maybe the spaceship stuff in this, it just feels like an excuse for severely different environments.
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of how it feels a little bit.
Yeah, I checked it out. I think it came out on Tuesday. It's on Game Pass right now if anyone wants to check it out. I checked it out immediately, and it doesn't control super well. On a vanilla Xbox One, runs not great. But there's something about it, like...
It's got some style.
Yeah, and there's something about a mystery like that, like Tacoma, like so many of these games that I really like. And then Austin Walker wrote about it, and he sort of sold me on really sticking with it until it grabs me, because he was talking about two planets that are next to each other, and I think they call them hourglass planets, and the one is losing sand off of it, and it's going to the other planet. And there's something at the bottom of the one that's covered in sand. You just have to wait long enough until a door appears, go in there and solve some puzzles, and that'll take you to sort of like... There's that... do you run into it? There's the rumors or hints page where you have all these Polaroid photos that are all connected to each other.
Yeah, which is on the computer of your ramshackle spaceship.
Yes, yeah. God, God, that spaceship is so great.
It's
like
literally it's being put together by a farmer in the back garden. It's
like a
one
bunch
of
of pieces
things.
of wood together and like a glass dome on it. It's so good. But apparently, that's really what drives you through the game, is trying to connect all these pieces on that rumors page. Apparently, there's never enough to get completely out of control. But there seems to be something there that feels really cool, and I feel like I'm like 10 minutes away from the exploration and the planets and this rumor thing like really clicking for me and kind of dragging me in. It seems like a game that we would really enjoy.
Yeah, when I started it's got a very interesting vibe to it, and I am looking forward to actually going further into it. But yeah, oh boy, it's hopefully, I'm gonna cross my fingers. It's around about 8 hours long, relatively linear, and I don't have a whole bunch of additional BS to do on top of it.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's one of those games where there's like a million things to do. There's a handful of planets. It seems like, going from planet to planet, as we've said before, is startlingly fast. It's mostly just a point A to point B sort of thing, as far as I can tell. But yeah, it seems cool.
I'm liking it so far, and like we said, I think it's got a bit of style to it. Anything else you want to add before we move?
No, I didn't. I played maybe like 2 hours of it.
Okay. Okay, so next on my list, because I can't not play it, the Descenders, or Descenders, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
So Descenders received a patch. It's fixed the glitched achievements.
Nice.
So I got my rap achievements, all good. They specifically call out, and I don't know, we talked about this pre-show, and I said to you, please reinstall it.
Right. My Xbox One is doing that as we speak.
And the reason I said that is because they mentioned in the patch notes that the patch also addresses frame rate issues.
Nice.
And I'm curious if that's what your quote-unquote screen shake was, or was it just a shoddy frame rate?
Maybe, yeah.
And they also say if you still have frame rate issues, go into the settings and turn it to offline mode. Because the way the game plays as default is you basically, when you load a track, you get ghosts of other riders who are playing that track at the same time.
Right.
And the issue with frame rate could be trying to sync up your current play with the other people currently playing it.
Right.
So hopefully, if you go in and you set it to offline mode now that the patches come out, fingers crossed, that should solve your vomiting issue.
I'll give it a shot. Lord knows I don't need another roguelike to play, but
yes, you
I
do,
will give it a shot.
this is a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good game.
Yeah.
It's so dumb how much I really love this game, but it's fun. And it's stupid, and it has sponsorship daily challenges now and everything. And I'm almost a master with my sponsor. I went from rookie to pro, and now I'm on the master train.
Nice.
Because why not? But I really don't want to talk too much about Descenders because I feel like I won't shut up about it otherwise, and just say the same things that I've said over and over again.
It's on Game Pass. Go try it.
Yeah, it's again that video Game Pass show. It's free, it's fun, it's dumb, it's very, very indie. So just go and give it a shot. If you don't like it, you don't like it. Uninstall it, whatever. That's fine.
Yeah.
The music is growing on me. Ever the more I play it,
it's a great soundtrack.
It's so dumb. I really don't like that kind of music, but it grows.
But maybe you may like that kind of music.
I should correct myself. I like every kind of music.
Yeah.
It's just not my preferred.
Sure.
So, I mean, it's a fun game. Go play.
Yeah.
Go play Descenders. Go hit the side of a mountain, which happens all too frequently for me. And I finished the first stage of the Career Plus, which is the desert. And at the end of every, what's it called? Every map, there is the boss jump.
Oh, right.
The boss jump at the end of the desert is a pyramid.
Great. That's exactly what I would want.
A giant pyramid.
That's great.
The second level in Career Plus is like downhill canyons. So it's kind of similar to the previous one in the normal career mode, except it's so much more severe. Like everything is so much more like the jumps are harder, the landings are harder, the turns and the speed is faster. The third, I know what the fourth map is because there's an achievement related to it, but the third map is favelas. I
wasn't expecting that.
I'm not even kidding you when I literally say it's just favelas, and they're like bright blue and pink, and it looks like cartoon favelas. But then it's really depressing when you look at the world map because it's literally just a map of favelas, and it's like this actually exists in the real world, and that makes me sad.
Right, a little too real.
A little bit, yeah. It's like, oh, I've been watching the Fast and Furious movies again, and I'm about to get to 5, which has a lot in the favelas there, and it's like. It makes me sad that this actually exists, like in the world. But the final map is a volcano.
Perfect. Just the Tekken volcano.
There is literally an achievement for making the volcano boss jump, which means that the final jump in the game is probably going to be jumping over a volcano.
Great. It's everything I've ever wanted.
And I need to do that.
Yeah.
And if I do that, I'll probably also get the start to finish one because I'm not level skipping at all.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple of achievos related to starting at the beginning and doing all 4 maps in one run.
Oh, wow.
That's 2 hours of my life well spent, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
But yeah, play the game. It's dumb. I just got a horn and it goes, whenever I press the button.
Did you get that whoopee cushion yet?
I didn't. It's really annoying because in order to get that, I need 25,000 points to get a 25% chance of an orange drop, essentially. Or if I get 100,000 points in one run, it's a 100% chance of an orange drop. I don't know how many orange drops there are, so I don't know how many I'm.
Gotcha. Gotta hit that Descenders wiki.
Exactly, and you don't get duplicates and stuff like that, so that's fine. If you skip a boss jump, you get the chicken head. You get a giant chicken mask.
That's great.
It's so dumb, and yeah, okay, Descenders is great. Play Descenders. Yeah. Go download it. If you have Game Pass, it's free. Let's see. 2 games left. I'm not going to talk about one of them because I will jump in on Boston's long
We'll talk a lot about that.
Talk about that game.
Yes.
And my final game this month. Oh, it's ODNF all over again. My brain has failed. It's Breath of the Wild.
Ooh.
So, how do you get better gear in Breath of the Wild?
You find it.
The fact that you both said that at the exact same time is kind of scary. And which way is the best way to go after you stop dying every time you turn a corner? Because that's all I'm doing right now.
Where do you want to go?
I was gonna say wherever you want to be.
Yeah. So, what gear are you talking about? Are you talking about weapons, or are you talking about like armor?
Both.
So weapons, don't worry, they're procure on site.
Yes, I know the PCS routines for the weapons. That's absolutely, I'm okay with that. Except every time I pick up a weapon, it's like level 2, and it's really frustrating. Like having to like smash up a level 50 weapon that I found. And then it's like, oh, there's another weapons on the ground. It's a level 2 Boku club. I don't want no more Boku clubs. Stop giving me stupid Boku clubs unless they're the Dragon Bone Boku clubs, in which case I'll take those. I'll take those every time.
See, a lot of times for me with the weapons, I would just use the crap weapons on the crap enemies and save the higher end weapons for bosses.
Yep.
And eventually you'll have enough good higher end weapons where you just have to start going through those because you don't have the inventory space to hold anymore.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, that's what I've been doing. I've also been, I think most of my higher end weapons all came out of shrines because I may or may not have gone on an exploration tirade and just a case of see a tower, go to a tower kind of thing.
Yep.
Which... it's fine at all, except the tower I had my eyes on for the longest time. It was the one just out of reach, right next to Hyrule Castle.
Right.
And it's surrounded by bloody guardians.
Yep.
and there is no way to get to that thing without getting shot with the lasers, which I'm too low gear to deal with them right now.
Lasers.
You can get to it. You just have to stealth really well.
I tried.
You didn't try hard enough. I did it all the time.
You have to embody Solid Snake.
Exactly.
I did. I was doing a little whoop 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 through the grasses and everything, and like I got up to a certain distance of it, and then like one of the Guardians spotted me on one side, so I stealthed my way around it to the other side, and was like, "Oh, this is good." And then I got halfway up it, and then a different Guardian spotted me and shot me dead from halfway up the side of this tower.
Yeah, a lot of the things that I would run, because if I remember correctly, there were trees, like little tree groves, randomly, and then there's just like an open plain.
Yep.
So you basically have to get to that last tree grove, spot where all the Guardians are at that point, and you just have to make a run for it, and then you activate that shrine, and then you get inside of that shrine.
I did it. I mean, I've got like right next to that tower there is a shrine, which I've got that shrine fast travel pointed to now, so I can go and attempt the tower whenever I feel like it. But every time I do, those Guardians have killed me probably at least 20, 30 times at this point. It's like, okay,
I hate those Guardians.
I'm just going to explore elsewhere for now.
Yeah.
So I started at the tutorial place, and then I went east, and I got the Kakariko village and that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And then I did a downwards loop across the southern parts, very quickly running into people in the direct south one. They're way too high level for me. But I got the towers on southeast, south, southwest, so I now know where the Gerudo place is, and that's really cool because I love that red mesa desert kind of stuff. I just love the way that thing looks. Now I am on my way north again, but I'm skirting to the right of Hyrule Castle and heading up the path to the stables, which it looks like the stables all basically form a big circle around the castle.
I think so, yeah.
So I'm basically making my way to the next stable, and at the same time trying to like jump on any towers that I can see at the time, and hopefully get some more stuff. I did just make it to the Zora's domain.
Okay, yeah, that was the one I was going to recommend, because Gerudo you should probably save to last. That has a dungeon. There's only 3 dungeons in the game. That has one of the dungeons. I think that's one of the harder ones, and I think you need an outfit to get into the Gerudo town. I think the Zora's domain is probably your best bet for the first area.
You can make potions because you're not going to get that outfit. I think you can buy one part of the outfit in the town, but then the rest of it you get after completing, I guess, the dungeon or whatever. But there are potions that you can make for extreme climate, like heat and cold and all that stuff that last, I think, like 2 or 3 minutes.
Oh, I was talking about the one to get into the town. I don't want to spoil it for Moon, but
you're obviously talking about the Sheikah outfit, probably.
No, it is something different, but
okay.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact that you don't get rupees through cutting the grass anymore.
Yeah, that's a bummer.
Or any way.
Yeah, rupees are few and far between.
My notes here incorrectly spelled say it's a rupee dessert, when actually I mean it's a rupee desert, because there's no rupees anywhere, and that's really, really frustrating.
Yeah, it's a weird thing to come into with Breath of the Wild. They changed so much, and I think so much of it works, but you'll talk to people and they'll be like, yeah, it's only 200 rupees. And it's like, I've got like 15. Like, where am I supposed to be getting these things?
I literally saved up everything I possibly could just to wake up that stupid horse shrine for it to tell me that it can bring horses back from the dead. I don't have any dead horses. You made me waste 1,000 rupees to wake you up, so you do nothing.
That sucks.
You useless, stupid horse spirit.
Did you find the house that you can buy yet?
I did not.
Oh, that was a cool quest line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got a whole bunch of different ones. I've got this stupid woman who's in love with the ball, which is interesting. So I'm taking photos of everything and trying to save my 3 Guardian photos. I still haven't bumped into a flying one. I've got the big ones. I've got the little ones. I don't have a flying Guardian yet. To show that woman who's like romancing the ball on the beach down in the southern area.
Yep.
I've faced my electric enemies for the first time, and they're fun, especially when you're using a metal sword. So it's like, oh, I'm gonna go kill this Lizarfoss over here, get his Boku club, and then come back and deal with you because I can't deal with you with my sword, which is fun.
Man, I want to play Breath of the Wild again. I wish it was cheaper. I'd totally get it for my Switch. I played it on Wii U originally, so I don't have it on my Switch.
I'm actually helped out a little bit in this game, I think, because I was gifted, I should say, the full edition with all of the DLC and stuff.
Right.
So literally, it starts with a whole bunch of side quests, and that's how I know where the stables are, because it's like the EX2 rumors. This stable has rumors about this legendary horse armor or whatever.
Oh,
so you hit that, and then it immediately shows you on a gold dot on the map where that stable is, even if you haven't been there before.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So that's what I've been doing. I've been using those missions to get the stables.
Right.
I finally found the stupid maracas guy again.
Hey, nice.
I don't know how many, and I had 70 Korok seeds. The dude took 30 of them. I was like, oh, okay. I'm going back to the forest now. I'll see you when you get there. It's like, okay.
Son of a.
I'm just gonna keep talking to you. You upgrade my things, please.
Right. Don't go away.
I talked to him. He's like, I'm just gonna go back to the forest now. I'll see you when you get there. It's like, dude, I literally have 60 more of your stupid seeds in my pocket, and you sit there and say you can smell them, but you're not willing to take them now. We've got to wait until you go back to the forest.
Take my seeds.
Give me more inventory space now, please. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's
God, I love Breath of the Wild.
Have you upgraded any of your armor yet to the fairies?
I upgraded one set through the starting ferry that you get in Kakariko Village, the one who's just up the hill.
Yeah.
I've started upgrading some of the armor through here, but I don't have enough rupees.
Yeah. That stuff will sort of trickle in the whole time you're playing.
And there are ways to kind of farm rupees. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But I know that there's things that you can eventually sell, like ingredients and foods and stuff like that.
I'm doing my very, very best right now to not look anything up.
Yeah.
Because I know the amount of time this game has been out, I know I could hit up Google and go, easy rupees, Breath of the Wild.
Someone has a zoomable Google map of the whole map. Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I'm not even talking like that, but I'm just saying in game there are, I guess, things that you can find to help, get more rupees. Obviously, there's a ton of stuff in the game that you could literally farm, and then you'll have 2,000 no problem. But
yeah, the thing I've run into is it's that I hate this. It's the loot-based mentality on video games, and I do the same thing in Skyrim and all these other type of games. It's like, I know I don't need 1,000 iron daggers. I'm going to carry 1,000 iron daggers and put them in my inventory box at home so that when I get an enchanting station, I can work on my enchanting skills using my 1,000 iron daggers.
You min-max immediately.
Yeah, I can't help it. So I've got ores and rubies and opals and shining stupid rock things and 20,000 flint and 17 stacks of wood and 120 apples. And, I'm cooking with the ingredient stuff. I'm making myself some food to help on those harsh winter nights when it won't stop bloody raining and I'm standing on a mountainside waiting to be able to climb it.
It's the worst.
I've got all that stuff, but I'm not selling any of it.
Yeah.
I don't care. Yes, the apple medley or whatever it's called can be sold for 5 rupees and I can make one in 2 seconds flat. I'm not selling any of my stupid food.
Yeah. You might need it for the final boss.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the Guardian around the corner who's going to instant kill me in one shot, so I don't even get the chance to. Which I do have to throw this out. I love his animation of eating when you're on the menus. Like he goes, nom, 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 nom. I love it when you eat 10 apples at once because he just does if you just hit A on the apple and then A again to eat it and just keep doing it, he does a right left motion. He doesn't just go nom, nom, nom. He goes,
He's just really forking it in there.
It's so good.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
I liked it with the cooking stuff too, where you go to cook and you add ingredients, and all of a sudden he just starts adding more and more to the load that he's holding before he just drops it all in the pan.
Yeah, I like this huge amount of stuff he has in his arms. Yeah.
Yeah. There's so much great stuff in this game. Genuinely great stuff. I did play it undocked.
Okay.
With the Joy-Cons attached to the side of the Switch.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible for me to play it that way.
Yeah.
Really?
Because I just can't. The Joy-Cons are too small.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And I think it's a mixture of them being too small and my fingers don't know the locations. Like, you say to Boston, okay, where's the square button on a PlayStation controller? And your thumb goes to that whether you're thinking about it or not. Your thumb goes, oh, it's right there.
Right.
And you say to Nimp, what's 9 o'clock on this V12 throttle that you've got right here? And
Right.
he immediately, he does the same
You say,
thing.
where's the Y button on the Joy-Con? It's like, hey man, I don't know.
Exactly. It doesn't feel like we've got protective sleeves on them, so I don't know if it's that, but the buttons aren't standy outy enough for me to immediately know.
It's probably because of the sleeves. Yeah, they're okay. When my problem with undocked stuff, and I played exclusively undocked, is the Switch itself is just heavy enough that I feel like I have a hard time holding it for long enough.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and that was my problem too, because the Joy-Cons were so thin. I bought the Legend of Zelda case set and all that, and it came with the Joy-Con. They're not sleeves, but it's like the backing that you could put on there,
Mm-hmm.
and it makes it a little thicker, so it was easier for me to hang on to it without feeling like I'm gonna break off a Joy-Con or something.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the top bumper buttons are so impossibly small as well.
And I have one of my Joy-Cons, the bumpers don't work correctly. That's maddening.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, I think it's a decent enough design. Like, it feels good to play them, but at the same time, it's like, come on, guys. I'm a big boy. I need a big boy controller.
Well,
Where's my Nintendo Duke controller?
And moving between all three consoles, the button mappings being different is insane. Coast from All in chat says, so not that portable, not a Switch owner? No, I mean, it is portable. It's just, I think when you're doing something like laying in bed, it's just heavy enough, it's just thin enough, like it's not like holding a Vita, it's not like holding a 3DS, where those are pretty portable. It's the unfortunate downside of having a good-looking screen. It's a big screen. It's just I have no major complaints about it. It's just little complaints.
Yeah, if you're playing this in bed, you're playing it sitting up in bed.
Yeah.
This isn't a laying in bed and playing it, because I do the thing when I'm playing my phone in bed where I'm like this, and
it's
then
right over your face.
It slips out my hand and it hits me in the face.
Yeah.
Like 5 times out of 10, I hit myself in the face with it.
Yeah.
I bought oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was just saying, I bought a gooseneck like tablet holder, and I would put the Switch in that, and I would just have the Joy-Cons in my hand, so I could just lay down and not have to worry about it.
Well, yeah, but then you're falling asleep playing.
Well, exactly, but then you run into that issue. That's happened a couple times.
Kakariko Village music kicks in, and you're like...
Or the worst part, when you have to get up real fast and you go face first into it at that point.
There you go, yeah.
You wake up and suddenly you've got C buttons imprinted on your side, and you're just like, why did this happen?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Breath of the Wild. It's so good, and I feel so lost, and it's both a good and a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't have a goal, and that's kind of cool, but I don't have a goal, and that's kind of frustrating.
Yeah.
Do you have any amiibos at all?
I do not.
I was going to say, because if you have any of those, you get free random stuff from them every 24 hours when you scan them.
Yeah, I've heard as much. I mean, right now I'm just getting all the DLC stuff, so I do already have the ancient horse armor, which means that if I'm ever in the middle of nowhere and my horse is on the other side of the map, which has happened several times now, where I just start running and forget that I have a horse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I never used the horse.
Yeah, neither did I.
Yeah, with the ancient horse saddle, which is one of the DLC things, you whistle and the horse teleports to you.
Nice.
Cool.
It's a game changer, because
no more of that, like, the horse can't hear you, and it's like, oh my god, I can see him!
Yeah, exactly. So I literally, like, I'll jump off a tower, I'll glide as far as I possibly can just to keep myself on, like, this path that I'm on, and it's like, do the whistle happens, then just like you teleporting away, like, the blue lines appear, and the horse just teleports in right in front of you,
so
and you just get on the horse.
Bring the horse in.
Exactly.
That's cool.
It's Breath of the Wild's amazing. Like, the game is genuinely an amazing game.
Mm-hmm.
It's so big.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, that's all I've been playing. How about you, Mr. Nimp?
So I started and finished Never Alone.
Oh yeah.
Which one's Never Alone?
It's when you're playing as the Alaskan Indian girl with the spirit fox.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Yep. Now I know exactly what you're talking about.
I actually didn't know it was that short. I just kind of started it because I had it forever ago from Games for Gold. And it was actually a lot of fun. I didn't have... It's a platformer for people who haven't played it. And it's actually got a pretty decent story behind it as well, and it's tied into the natives' lore of Alaska.
That's where that is when I heard that about the game, like how it delves deep into like the original lore of the what's the word, the native tribes. Like
Yeah.
when it goes inside, it's like, okay, now I'm interested.
Yeah.
Now you.
Yeah. And you get... One of the cool things that I really liked was you run across these owls randomly, and you're not really collecting them. You just kind of have to run by them, and then they just fly off, and you've collected the owl. And these owls unlock these little documentary videos about, you know, the native tribes, you know, what more background about the actual story that this game is representing, and, you know, a bunch of other stuff. And I sat down, I think there was 24 videos altogether, and I sat down and watched all of them, and it was actually really interesting watching all these videos about the game.
Yeah, there's some cool stuff in there.
Yeah, the only issues I had with that game was sometimes the controls were not, I guess, very friendly. Because you can control both characters at the same time, or I'm sorry, you know, you can choose to play as either the girl or the fox. You just switch back and forth, but they'll follow, you know, the other one that you're controlling, which normally was not an issue until I got to this area where the spirits are kind of just tracking around the map. And if they get close to you, they'll grab you, and then you're done. The issue I was having was that sometimes playing as the girl, the fox would either be right there, or it would lag far enough behind that when I tried to run past this thing, the fox would be far enough behind that it would catch up right as the spirit was coming down, and it would grab the fox, and then it's game over. You got to start all over again.
Oh, I see.
So that was kind of a weird pain. And then the winds randomly in this game, every once in a while in certain levels, you'll have blizzard winds that'll come in, and if you don't drop down to the ground, it'll just blow you back. Which isn't really an issue. Every once in a while you would have the issue where you're trying to do a jump, because sometimes you have to use those winds to jump further than you normally would, or, you know, stuff like that. But every once in a while you would get it where everything is calm, and you can watch the snow, how it sways back and forth to tell if there's going to be a big gust of wind or not. There were several times where the snow would be still, I would jump, and then mid-jump this big gust would come out and knock me down, and then I would, you know, fall in between the platforms or whatever and die.
That sucks.
And it really came to a head when later on in the game you're running backwards to get to an area, and you're going against those spirits in the map that are trying to grab you, and the wind is constantly blowing real hard and then not blowing at all. So you're trying to gauge these two different elements that all of a sudden just seem really random and weren't being great to play with.
Right.
But other than that, I mean, the game was really great. I enjoyed it. If no one's ever played it before, it's a fun game. I think it only took like 2 or 3 hours to play it. And I actually managed to get all 1,000 achievements within that too. So it's a really easy getter too.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, go on.
Yeah. Which I did it all by accident too. I think the last one I needed was just watching all those videos, and I wasn't really paying attention. And then you watch them all, and I got the last achievement for it. So
Nice.
So that was pretty simple. After I had played that, I went on and played Celeste because I had that on my console as well.
Getting ready for that huge new DLC they're coming out with.
Well, it is also a platformer, but a completely different kind of platformer.
Yeah.
Yep. This is more
hard.
Super Meat Boy.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I played it for a bit, and I was just dying left and right. And then I had seen that they had an assist mode. It's like, all right, I'm going to turn that on, because unless I play this for hours on end, it's going to be a while before I get anywhere in this game. And the game, even though you're not dying all the time because you can turn on God mode, think there was something else it turned on too. I don't
It's like
remember
the
what else.
additional jump.
Yeah, you can
Yeah,
turn on
maybe.
additional jumps.
Oh,
slow
stamina.
movement, slow
Stamina was
movements.
the other thing.
Yes.
Right.
Even with all that on, you still have to have a good amount of skill to make, a lot of the jumps and all of that.
Yep.
Which I'm fine with, because if I'm not under pressure, I can make everything just fine. There were a couple things that were sticking points for me that I had to figure out, and finally got through those areas. But yeah, I think I'm on the 5th chapter.
Okay.
And I would not have gotten there within this week if I did not have the assist mode on.
Yeah.
We did a game club on it, and I think I did the whole thing with no assists, but I'm a sadist, so there's no offense to anybody who wants the assists on. I am just that kind of person. I think Boston turned on the double jumps, I think.
Nope, I did it without assists.
Oh, you're a sadist too! Mm-hmm. Yay!
Yeah, there was something about Celeste that really clicked with me, and I again, we talked about this so much in the game club. If you need the assists, please turn them on. There's certainly nothing wrong with it, and they do the great thing that I wish more games did, where you can finish the game with the assists on. It's not one of those like, oh, you played on easy mode, now you don't get to see the last chapter or anything. Like, none of that.
Something Cuphead does is if you play it on the easy mode, you don't get the final form of any of the bosses.
Yup.
Why?
Well, and really, I was just kind of not knowing anything about this game. I was just jumping in to check it out.
Mm-hmm.
So, how much did the story blow you away?
I am intrigued by it.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, spoiler-free-ish, but what was the last thing that happened? Because I can't remember which chapter was which.
I just finished the... oh, crap. Not the elevator ride. What is that called? The ski lift thing.
Oh, okay, where they were...
After the hotel and all that?
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I got to that point, and then I saved and shut it off, and I just haven't gotten back to it, but... Yeah, there's a couple sequences in there where things start to happen, and then it's like, oh, hey, guess what? That didn't really happen, or maybe it did. Or
right. Oh.
Yeah. So that was pretty interesting. I love the old lady in there, too.
Yeah, she's great.
Crazy old bat. And then the final game that I played was No Man's Sky with my son.
Mm.
There are a lot of glitches in this game still, off and on. For some reason, there's one group of aliens that just hate me no matter what I do.
Great.
And I don't know how this started happening. I just went onto a space station at one point, and I couldn't trade with anybody, couldn't talk with anybody. It would just keep saying that they were afraid of me and all this stuff. And I'm like, all right.
What did you do?
Exactly. I don't even know what I did.
You're supposed to start neutral. That's weird.
Were you in a party with your son?
Yes.
Correct. Let me correct my question. What did he do?
Right.
I don't know.
He just destroyed their homeworld. It's fine.
Well, and the messed up thing was too. So, I now have a frigate, or a freighter and a frigate, which is awesome. They're massive ships that you can't really pilot, but you can fly your ship into. Walk around, you can build stuff within the ship, and they can hold, more items, inventory, all that stuff.
And it's super cheap in those things to warp from one system to another.
Yes. And you can send your little frigates out and have them do missions, and they'll come out or come back and give you money and items and stuff like that.
That's right, yeah.
And you can have up to 30 of those little things. So you can have a whole armada just floating in space there, which looks awesome.
Doing your bidding.
Yeah. But I was out there I think I was mining silver or gold or something from the asteroids, and all of a sudden I started getting attacked by pirates. And a buddy of mine, who's been playing far longer than I have, had basically told me, whenever pirates show up in space, just run away. Don't even try to fight them, because a lot of times the controls are difficult to fight them and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so I started running away, and then I got a warning saying that they were attacking my freighter, and if I didn't do anything, they may destroy my freighter.
Right.
Yep.
It's like, this is garbage. So I turned back around, fought them, did not have nearly as rough of a time as my friend kept telling me he was having.
No,
it just sucks. So
I people keep giving that feedback, and I disagree with it so strongly. Like, the only way you're gonna get better at fighting in that game is fighting, and it's really not that hard. You just have to navigate in 3D space.
Which isn't that difficult, thanks to my skills in Elite Dangerous. So.
Yeah, you had the master class.
It's not that difficult.
Yeah, dude, now you're going to like Space Fighting 101, and you're like, this is easy, but it's still not that bad.
Well, and I found out too, because when you hold down circle, they basically put you into a controlled super cruise that you can drop out of at any point in time. When you start turning, you're basically drifting your ship.
Yep.
So while I'm shooting these pirates, they start shooting at me, my shields drop, I'm like, alright, I get away. So I go into the super cruise, I start turning around, and I'm weaving in and out of all these asteroids and stuff, so they can't hit me, so I get my shields back, turn back around, and just start, shooting them off.
Yep.
But during this entire time, my son wanted to see what I was doing, so he flies into my ship, and I don't know what he did.
Oh boy.
But after I beat the pirates, I went to go fly into my freighter, because that was the original reason for me being in space, and they wouldn't let me in. What? They're still basically on red alert.
Oh, weird.
And so I was reading that there's two things that could have caused it. One, I could have either accidentally have shot one of my own ships, which is possible because you don't really have a lock on. Yeah. Or you may have clipped them at some point, ran into them and all that. And I'm thinking what happened was my son tried to take a pot shot at a pirate and probably hit my ship. So then my ship was freaking out.
Probably, yeah.
So I had to do a bunch of... I went down to the world, saved my game, quit, got back into it, and they were fine. Everything came back up because I was going to be really mad one way or the other, but everything turned out fine for that.
Cool thing about your frigate, though, is if you are in your regular spaceship and you jump to another system... your frigate just comes along with you.
You have to summon it now.
Oh, you have to summon it now? Bummer. Yeah. It was always cool when you'd land, and then, like, right in front of you, there's just all, like, 30 ships just all coming in at the same time.
It's still that cool, because you have to pick... It's basically like summoning the ship, but you get to pick an icon, and it shows, like, a wired outline of the freighter. So you can pick where it comes in, and I've done it before where it warps right in front of me, and it does the whole Star Trek thing where all of a sudden ships just start popping in.
Yeah, they, like, zip in. Yeah, cool.
So that looks really sweet. But then we started doing a lot of random stuff where I was helping my son make antimatter, which I need to make all these... It's all high-end items that I have to start making, so obviously resources are very hard to come by. And I had found out that when you can make, what is it even called, an automatic miner. Yeah. And it's just a machine that you can put on top of the resource area, like a vein of copper or whatever, and it'll sit there and it'll mine it. What I didn't know when I put it down is that it'll mine it infinitely. All you have to do is just give it carbon to fuel it. It'll fill up to 250 or whatever mineral you have it on top of, and it'll just keep going.
Oh, wow.
Which is great, because when you use the terraformer to mine out ores like that, it completely gets rid of that spot, and they never come back. So I now have about 5 of these things on 3 different worlds. And I have a steady supply of things that I need.
So you've turned this into Infinifactory?
Yes. Yeah. And I inadvertently have my son further in his game than he should be, because he still cannot use the teleporter at all, or I guess like the portal or whatever, so you can warp in between different portals.
Right.
It won't let him use it because he hasn't gotten far enough in the game where it allows him to use it.
Interesting.
So I've been trying to help him with that. I made him a bunch of antimatter so he can get to his scientist. But then when we look at his map, his scientist is like 500 light years away. It's like, man, your ship isn't going to make that at all. At most, his can go 100.
Oh, okay.
And even with all the resources I have, that is a lot of things that we have to make so he can make it.
Yeah, without an upgraded engine, that's a lot that's a lot to cover.
So that's kind of a pain. I'm gonna try and see how I can help him out with that. But the bigger issue with the glitches that I'm having is every time I have gotten a new gun, something has happened and the game doesn't save it.
Oh, weird.
So at this point, I should have had 6 different mining rifles, is basically what they are. And I still have my C-Class one that I started with. Jeez. Because every time I've come back into the game, I just don't have it.
I I like this with like your game and your son's game like poisoning each other's games.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, and the other glitch that I ran into was I found an abandoned ship, which for you to be able to use it, all you have to do is just claim it.
Yeah.
And then you just have to fix it up to be able to fly it, which is really resource intensive. But when you leave the planet, it just shows up in your freighter. And I went to my freighter, saw that it was there. I was like, all right, cool. I did a hard save. My son jumped into my game. All of a sudden, that ship was gone. And I'm like, I
think we know the root of all
me?
problems here.
So, and then right after he left, ship came back. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's up with this game, and it's not flyable yet. So
yeah, because you have to fix it up.
Sparking and sparking on my on my dock right now. So I don't. The game's got weird glitches, but so far they seem to, I guess, fix themselves if you do a hard save or if you revert back to a previous save,
or if you just kick your kid out of game.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's mostly him, but you know. But other than that, yeah, we're both really enjoying that game. We spent hours. I think I'm like 21 hours into that game now.
Yeah.
And I've not really accomplished a whole lot.
Oh, that sounds an awful lot like Elite Dangerous and Minecraft and everything else.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I'm enjoying it so much, is because it's close enough to Elite. And I have my wife's permission to play it because I'm playing with my son.
Right.
So now
the most
I just gotta,
important thing.
Yes. So now I need to get him to graduate so we can play Elite with each other.
Right.
But that's all I've been playing.
I played more Konami Pixel Puzzle Collection. I wanted to pull up.
You need to stop. You have a problem.
I do not. I'm going to pull up here and see what my completion percentage is, because now I'm running into 4-star puzzles, and they are stupid hard. I'm now at 31.4%, so I have no idea how much harder this game is going to get.
So I'm not going to lie. You posted a photo of one of your puzzles on Twitter.
Yeah, that 15 by 15 where I was like, LOL, what's this?
And I looked at it and I literally had a response typed out where it was like, Boston, you're such an idiot. This line right here, you can fill this line out.
Yep.
And then I looked again, I was like, wait, this isn't 10, this is 15. Oh,
right.
Okay.
Yeah, because there was like a 3-6, and I was like, all right. And the rest of them were like 1-1s or 1-5-1s. It's sort of like, or a 3-2, and it's like, cool. That's the hardest part that I've had with the 4-star puzzles is there are a lot less obvious places to start. So it's sort of my next level of nonogram knowledge is sort of like, all right, you give me a 15 by 15 with no real obvious places to start. There has to be somewhere to start, because that's the first rule of nonograms is you never guess.
Yep.
So there has to be somewhere to start. I just have to figure it out. And that's been fun.
I guess all the time, and it's worked out fine for me.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Hey, I completed my first 10-10. I think it was yesterday.
Nice.
And then it gave me my next one. I'm like, nah, I'm just gonna put this down.
Yeah. You're fast on the road to nonogram knowledge. But I mean, that's the hard part about 15 by 15s or anything bigger than that is you can get like a quadrant of a puzzle. And it's like, cool, I have 5 different ways I can solve this, and they're all legitimate, but I can't guess because that will totally destroy this puzzle. So
I think the difference between you and I is you see that and you're like, oh, cool, and I'm like, oh, no.
Yeah, well, I really love starting, like, even with just one little block, and it sort of blossoming out from there, because you can quickly make... As you're blocking stuff off, you can figure out, oh, well, this 5 will only fit here because I'll have the other stuff filled in. Like, I just love nonograms. There's something about them that really just click with me. It's so good. I'll talk about the other game last. A couple of milestones in Destiny 2 here. Now that the new season starts on Tuesday, and Bungie has a super cryptic live stream about the future of Destiny 2 that's happening on Thursday that I'm trying not to think about because I'm pretty pumped about it.
It's called Destiny 3.
No, they're very clear about the future of Destiny 2, which I think their language around that is very much... They're clearly saying, look, we know you guys are expecting Destiny 3 in November because that's how we did it last time. We don't want to do that again, so... We're going to talk about it super early. I'm expecting another annual pass,
A 2.5 maybe.
It'd be fine. That's basically where we're at now. So.
Well, I mean, because wasn't that what? Oh wow, it's been a while. The one that you got from one that started with a C, the big boss.
Crota?
Yeah, there you go. Wasn't that what Crota basically was? It was like a 0.5 kind of leap. Because I think that was their
that was the Taken King was the big.
Yeah,
their big deals. Yeah, that was very much like, all right, Destiny 1, here's the next step, and then Destiny 2, and that's what Forsaken was for Destiny 2. That was the, like, all right, 2 more planets, whole bunch of big, like, that's when Gambit came in. That was very much, they call them Comet releases. They're the big releases that are not full games, but it's the big DLC releases.
Yeah. Let me just a shot in the dark here.
Sure.
How about if they rename Destiny 2 Destiny?
Destiny Forever, the Destiny. Yeah.
Destiny 8 on its side.
That's hello. That'll be the reveal trailer. Destiny 8. Whoop, and a big old Destiny like brr, 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 Anyway.
Or they could just call it Warframe, whatever.
There you go. Yeah. So I got my 2 pinnacle competitive PvP weapons this week, Recluse and Luna's Howl. Didn't play a lot with Luna's yet. It's a hand cannon. Not great with hand cannons in Destiny 2, but I need to get better with them because of a drop I got later in the week. Recluse is stupid good. It is a secondary submachine gun, which is a weapon type I hate, but it has a buff on it called Master of Arms, where anybody you kill with any weapon buffs Recluse, and that includes kills you get with Recluse. It chews through stuff. I mean, it chews through anything you put in front of it. It's incredible. Well worth the entire 3 months I spent to get that weapon.
Are those legendaries or are those exotics?
Those are legendaries. So that's the cool thing about all these pinnacle weapons is all of them are legendaries. So they're sort of tuned, and they have a unique bonus or a unique trait on them that sort of makes them a little bit better than legendaries, but they're not quite at the level of an exotic. So you can sort of mix and match all these cool guns.
What was the sick sparrow-looking thing that you got? What was that, a sparrow?
Well, that'll be later. But so I think I got all the pinnacle weapons for this season that I wanted to get. So Tuesday starts 3 more pinnacle weapons. So
yep. Good luck with that.
Definitely beginning. Thankfully, they changed the competitive PvP weapon this time. So previous seasons, you would have to get up to 2,100 points. That's a fabled rank, I believe. You gain points for winning. You lose points for losing. This season, they have a sniper rifle that I can't remember the name of, that you just have to earn 3,500 competitive points. So if you win 2 matches, get 120 points. You in both, that and your ranking. If you lose a match, you go down 60 points, but you don't lose points from the progression on this gun. And I think that's really smart. It's a much better way of doing it, and I think you'll see a lot more people in the competitive playlist, which will be good for Destiny overall. And the other thing I did was the stars aligned correctly, and I finally got to do my first Destiny 2 raid, which is Last Wish. It was incredible, and
is that the first raid?
That's the 4th raid. There's 5 out right now.
Surely you should have started from the beginning and done the first raid first.
I don't really want to do Leviathan. That's a raid I've never been interested in, and I don't want to do. There's one specific encounter I don't want to do, the dogs encounter. It always looked like it sucked, and I just really don't want to do it.
Is it like the stealth section from Vault of Glass?
Hey, guess what? You're right. Very much like that, except dogs are pathing through this area, and I don't like that. I liked it in Vault of Glass a lot. I don't want to do it in Leviathan, but I'll have to do it eventually to get the gun from there. Grumble, grumble, grumble. Anyways, so did what is seen as the best raid in Destiny 2, Last Wish, had a really cool Sherpa that ran us through it. It took us 4 hours, and that was mainly, the majority of the time was, here's the explanation, we'll walk through some of the roles and stuff like that, and it only took us 2 or 3 tries for most fights to get it down. We had a really good group. The very last boss, I think it took us 10 tries, but just because it's mainly very mechanics heavy, and there are 2 teams doing 2 different things at the same time to sort of feed each other's encounters. So it's very much the saying, we did this thing, here's the call out, boss is coming over here, we got to do this thing and respond to their call out. So it was cool. We had a really good group. I got a lot of stuff done by doing Last Wish. I went in to do one specific thing, and that was to get my final corrupted egg. I'm 40 out of 40 now, and I got that cool sparrow that you saw, the Taken-looking sparrow.
That thing looks amazing.
Yeah, it's very cool. The animation on it is really cool because that ghosting smoke effect comes from the front to the back. So it looks really cool. As a result, I also got the Chronicler title. I'm all done with every piece of lore that this game has to offer. That last egg got me my last lore piece. And I got the curated hand cannon from the raid, which is another weapon that is ungodly powerful. And the curated one has so there's 2 levels of weapons, especially for the raid, and some of the other. There's a normal drop, which is just random traits on it, and then the curated one, which has a special combination of traits on it, usually a special shader, and then it's already fully masterworked. There's nothing you really have to do to get it. It's just a dice roll on, will you get this gun, and then will you get the curated one. So I got the curated version of that, which is largely seen as one of the best hand cannons in the game. So now I gotta use hand cannons.
Now you just gotta get good.
Yeah, I do have to get good. So I have a whole new season to do it with a really cool-looking 6-man activity that's coming out on Tuesday that I am super excited about. But yeah, I will talk about that next week.
Do the weapons, I guess, still feel different enough to you, or are they starting to feel kind of the same now? Or
like between weapon types?
I guess, yeah, because I know that was a lot of the issue that I was starting to run into in Destiny 2 way back when, where it just kind of seemed like you were getting all these weapons, but it was basically just, oh, hey, instead of having Cryptic Dragon, you now have, Sunfire or whatever, which is basically the same exact scout rifle. It just is blue instead of red now.
Yeah, they've done a lot of work, I'd say, especially over the last year, when they moved to a dual primary system. So before it was primary, secondary, heavy. Now a lot of the weapon types are all over different categories. Like you can have a primary sniper if you really want. You can run with 3 snipers if you really want. I think as a result, each weapon type has multiple different categories under it, and most of it are pulse rifles, for example. There's a 520 RPM is like a 390 RPM. Both of those types feel very different. Like one shoots 4 or 5 bullets at a time, one shoots 3. One kicks more than the other, one is a little bit more laser focused. And then adding on top of that, there's a lot more traits, weapon traits in the loot pool now. So you can really get a gun where the traits complement it, or it complements your play style. Okay. And I think they've been tuning a lot of stuff, so a hand cannon can't shoot at the distance that a pulse rifle or a scout rifle can. Because that's not what you're not going to be shooting like that. And I think they've tuned a lot of stuff to feel way better like that. Because that was a problem at the beginning of Destiny 2, was like, cool, this hand cannon is shooting across the map. That's not fun to be on the other side of. And then why would I pick a scout rifle? Because that doesn't matter at this point. Yeah.
Did they ever do more? Because around the time I stopped playing was when they were talking about, I guess, doing like skill trees for weapons.
They did a little bit of that. Now with random rolls, you can get each category. There's usually like basically four columns of traits on the gun. Each column can have 2 or 3 different options in it. So like your ammo type, your view sight, your trait on it, what the bullets do, that sort of stuff. Exotic weapons also have exotic catalysts on them now, where you get them as a random drop from stuff. You do something special, and then it boosts that exotic even more. So there's a bunch of different options for that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And last but certainly not least, the game I lost my week to, sort of unexpectedly, is Void Bastards. Came out on PC and Xbox One this week. It's on Game Pass right now. Boy, it is a first-person shooter roguelike.
Yep. Cell-shaded. Looks like
cell-shaded. It looks exactly like a comic. The in-between level stuff is presented exactly like comic book pages. You know, as you're going through dialogue, it's filling in one panel after another, even in-game. You know, one of my favorite things about the game is you'll go up to a closed door, and if there are enemies on the other side of the door,
step.
Yeah, it'll be like tap, 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 or step, step, or hover. It comes out of the doorway, so you can tell, number one, that there are enemies in there, and number two, what type of enemies they are.
Yeah.
This game is really good. I think it controls really, really, really well. I've run into very few performance issues on a vanilla Xbox One. I have VSync on, so there's a little bit of frame dropping, but that's fine. Mm-hmm. The shooting feels great. You can't aim down sights, which still gets me into trouble sometimes.
Yeah,
because I run by accident.
It's also a non-conventional control scheme, which takes a little getting used to.
I guess sort of. What's non-conventional?
Well, left trigger is sprint, but also left click is sprint.
Yeah.
Right trigger is shoot, but right stick is crouch, and B is crouch.
Yeah, I don't use the clicking and the sticks because you don't really need to.
Yeah, true. I do because I like sprinting with clickies. I don't like the left trigger sprint at all.
I don't sprint in general because it alerts so many of the enemies.
Yeah,
unless you're running on a carpet.
I constantly, which that matters in the game. Which
it does, yeah.
Oil slicks are still my favorite.
God.
I get myself into trouble by holding left trigger to look down the sights.
Yeah, you're sprinting.
And then sprinting directly at the person I'm trying to shoot.
Yeah. I think it combines a lot of stuff from a lot of roguelikes I really like. Like it combines that choosing where to go next on the star map, sort of like Slay the Spire does, where you have these forking paths and you get to choose, well, am I going to go to this... I have an upgrade over here on this ship that I need, but the enemies are tough and there's a lot of smoke, so I can't stay there long because my oxygen is going to go down.
Mm-hmm.
Or there's a lot of resources in this one and the enemies are easy, but I'm not really going to get that next upgrade that I need. Or there's an asteroid down here that has nothing, but I could possibly avoid the pirates that are coming on one of the other paths.
Yeah. Also, FTL does a similar thing. Like that exact same galaxy map looking thing is FTL as well.
Yeah, but I think the difference for me is FTL, you're really rolling the dice on what you're going to get. And
yeah, this is crystal clear about what you're going to get.
It's very crystal clear. Like, here's one of the ships that's made by the company that made the kitty robots. So you're going to get, it's going to look like like a Japanese bathhouse, and it's going to be green and it's going to be crazy, but you're going to get these upgrades. It also combines the stuff from Rogue Legacy I really like, where your character has good and bad traits they roll with at the beginning, where it's like, oh, this person automatically picks up stuff on the ground as you run past it, which is great. But they cough every once in a while because they're a smoker, so you can't sneak around enemies. Or like, this person's really short, so it's hard for enemies to hit them, but you also have to look up to hit any buttons or like loot anything, because you're super, super short on the ground. Or one once I got the other day, the game's just in black and white. And that's that was incredibly difficult until I used the gene resplicer to get rid of that and replace it with something else. God, this game is really something special.
I think you might have retweeted it, but did you see the one about the overly polite negative perk?
Yeah,
explain that one.
Yeah, so there's a perk called overly polite where your character only refers to the enemies as their last names. So instead of like a juvie, it'd be like Mr. Smith or Mrs. Jones or something like that. Like Mrs. Peeper is one of the security cameras.
Turrets.
Yeah, it's really good. This to me has we were talking about it on We Roguelike It today about that the thing when a roguelike grabs you where you just have to do one more run. To me, there's like 3 levels going on with Void Bastards. One is that ship-to-ship thing, where it's like, all right, that ship only took me a couple minutes, wasn't that big, I had plenty of oxygen, the enemies were easy, it was fine. I probably have time to do one more ship. Like, my upgrade for this ID card is just like 2 more ships away. I can just go over there and do that.
Yep.
That stuff is great. Then you have a character-to-character sort of addiction, because you have a larger run going on. When your character dies, you don't lose your overall progress. Because part of it, you got thrown in prison for some sort of infraction, which it tells you when your character is generated.
And it's randomly generated for them too, and some of them are hilarious.
Some of them are really good. So you're trying to, like, the first thing you try and go do is build an ID card, because you need to feed it into like this FTL system on your main ship to get out of, to basically escape prison. You keep the progress on that large thing. Like maybe you collected one part of the ID card and not the other. If your character dies, you still have that piece. You still have all the stuff the other character had, and you're still working on that progress. You don't start back over on the ID card. So when you finish the ID card, next thing you build is the HR computer. I've built that, the HR computer, and then I'm almost done with building the third thing. So character to character matters, because you can buff up an individual character, but if that character dies, they just you respawn, you rehydrate. Sorry.
Yeah,
they hydrate some goop into
It's literally it's like prisoner paste.
Yeah,
like
basically,
they just open up this quick easy meal sachet thing.
Yeah,
all this pink goop comes out of it, and then it just hydrates this prisoner paste. It's so disgusting and hilarious at the same time.
It's really great.
Is this the game where they dehydrate the prisoners so that it saves on Okay.
Yeah.
I think I heard someone on Giant Bomb talking about that.
Yeah,
the animation is so good.
Yeah. And so what's great is when you rehydrate, you just spawn back at the ship you died at, and then you can just continue your journey on from there. It looks great. It sounds great. The enemies are mostly fun to fight. The shooting is great. I'm unlocking stuff like crazy. Just not only guns, but upgrades to those guns and upgrades to my armor. Like, I now get like 75% more oxygen when I go in somewhere, and I slip on oil slicks 50% less. There's
stupid oil slicks.
Yeah, like I've even upgraded to the point where when I die, a defibrillator brings me back to life, so I get a second chance at a run. How much time have you put into it, Moon?
Nowhere near as much as you. I'm still on the ID card thing.
Okay.
I was torn between starting this and Outer Wilds, so rather than make a decision, I put about an hour into each one.
I started Outer Wilds first because as soon as this came out, I immediately saw everyone talking about it. It's like, all right, I will probably enjoy this. Let's put in some time to Outer Wilds, and I got through the tutorial on that. But yeah, Void Bastards is free with Game Pass right now. If you're not signed up with Game Pass, this alone is worth the price.
Not to mention Sea of Thieves, Dead by Daylight, Crackdown.
Descenders. Like there's so many games right now in Game Pass, and Void Bastards is really great, and I can't recommend it enough. Even if you haven't enjoyed roguelikes, or maybe you're looking for one to get started with, and you don't mind first-person shooters, I'd start with this, because it's a pretty friendly roguelike as things go. Like, you don't have to start building your ID card if you're on building the third thing and you die. Like, it's really not punishing. I'm playing it on normal, which is fairly difficult, and I've heard easy is pretty easy.
Let me tell you about easy peasy and how exactly easy peasy really is.
Yeah. Is that the easiest difficulty?
Yes.
That's great.
It's so simple.
Yeah, I feel like normal is probably a little too difficult, especially once you start getting into like the section 3 of the map, because going from top to bottom, as you start going deeper and deeper on the star map, the enemies start getting harder and harder. I'm in section 3, section 4 at the moment, and I don't have enough upgrades to really hang down there. So I've got to farm some upgrades on the higher tiers. But yeah, I wish I could talk more about Void Bastards, because I think it's really something special, but at its core, it's a pretty simple game. It is a first-person shooter. You have these tiny little... Well, at the beginning, you have these tiny little dungeons in these ships. You're trying to scrounge as much stuff as you can and get back to your ship before you run out of oxygen. And most of the time, oxygen is fairly... At the beginning, you get like 5 or 6 minutes, something like that.
I was getting like 15 minutes, dude, and I'm fine.
Oh, you're in the easier difficulty, so you probably get more, which is great. But like now that I have upgrades, at the worst case, I'm getting like 11 minutes, and that's on a pretty normal ship. But yeah, this is really great. I have spent a lot of time with my Xbox One this week between Outer Wilds and Void Bastards, and I have not touched my PS4 that much, which should probably tell you how good this game is.
Yep.
Yeah. So go get it and go play it. I have a feeling like I'll be playing this for a little bit here.
It's worth throwing out a mention for the sense of humor in the game. Like, it's got
it's very
funny. Good sense of humor, but it never goes to the point of ridiculousness. It feels just the right side of Borderlands, like where it's heading up to that ridiculousness, but not quite going over that line.
Yeah,
like it's just nice, chill, funny little jokes.
Yeah,
my guy was put in prison for coughing on an old person.
Yeah, like. Or like your next prisoner could be put in prison for eating human limbs in the street. Like it's just it's really weird. Yeah, Void Bastards is really great. Go pick it up. It's on Game Pass. If you don't have a Game Pass, get it by this point.
We literally talked about like 5 of the games.
Yeah, like 5 of our games were on Game Pass at this point. So, but that's all I'm playing this week. So let's take a break.
Yep.
Oh, I will be right back.
Okay, that was just an hour and 40 minutes. No big deal. Looks like my kid has declined a nap twice in a row today. So
sounds like fun.
Hopefully we'll be able to blow through this next segment here. I don't want to be up here for too long.
2-2. If you go to dance recital.
That's right. We might skip emails if we go long. I want to get.
If you do, just make sure you copy Coach Jamal's question to next week's.
Yeah, I already have it in the notes. Thank you, Coach Jamal.
And for the show titles, as always.
Yes. 2 thumbs up. All right, let's see if we have any new news stories. These are the tough weeks because stuff is just quiet right before E3. Either it's like very clearly fake leaks, or it's stuff that is just going to be at E3 anyway.
So I didn't bother with the Death Stranding stuff.
That's a 9-minute trailer anyway.
I know. I got to listen to Dan Reichert talk about a 9-minute trailer for like 45 minutes on the Beastcast.
Yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit here in news stories, but I also did not watch it.
It's Kojima. It's interesting. We'll see.
Yeah. All right, you guys ready to wrap this thing up?
Ready to vape.
Ready to vape. That's right.
Hell yeah.
Vape City, USA. What's up? All right. Let's get started here in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of June 3rd, 2019. Persona Q2 New Cinema Labyrinth comes out on the 3DS. Boy, that first Persona Q was really good. I really wish I had the time to play this. Because I know this one is probably going to be even better. And it combines Persona 3, 4, and 5 in this one. So
Of course.
yeah. The Persona Q games are great. The Etrian Odyssey games are great. I really hope they figure out how to make these games
them
on
on the
another
Switch?
platform. Yeah.
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 I wish they'd make them on every platform. Like,
It's so specific to the hardware, though.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
you could see the touchpad being useful on a PS4 controller.
Yeah, but you can't really draw the map on... You want to draw it on the screen. Like, that's...
Yeah. Okay, so you press a
So put
button
it on
to
the
pull up
Switch.
the map,
Yeah.
and then you use left trigger to put your pencil down, and use the
No, it's
thing
not
to
the
actually
same.
draw.
It's not the same. Because you want to actually draw it. That's why I'm hoping they figure it on the Switch. Like, if you can split that screen in half, I think you can do really well. Like, one side is your map that you want to have up all the time, and then the other side is the gameplay.
Well, knowing Nintendo, they'll just put the map on your phone, and then you can just play it on your TV
God,
and your phone at the
Be
same
the
time.
worst. Christ.
Yeah.
Yikes.
It's not our fault that Boston's obsessed with graph paper.
I just love drawing maps, man.
I have the first one, and I also played Demon Gaze on the Vita, so I
Yeah,
understand.
there you go. Yeah, Demon Gaze, man, yeah. Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 2 comes out on PS4 and probably PC later. If you know what this series is, you were already playing it.
I
They're
don't even
pretty
know what
fun.
it is.
It's like a spin-off of another series, and it's... Some of these games are getting deep.
Trials, it's Trials in the Sky. There's like 3 different games that all take place at the same world around the same time. They're just different snippets of that time frame.
Yep.
So the Legend of Heroes is based, if I'm remembering correctly, is based off of Trials in the Sky.
Those were
which
the first
already
ones,
is,
yeah.
Yeah, which already has 3 games.
Right.
Trials of Cold Steel takes place somewhere in Trials in the Sky,
Yeah.
just in a different section of the world.
Yeah, but it's like school kids, and it's like a totally different type of... And there's another series, too, that I never remember the name of.
Yeah, and I'm currently playing Cold Steel 2 on the Vita as well, because I've been waiting for the 3rd one to come out, which it looks like it's coming out on PlayStation 4 sometime.
Yeah.
It's already out in Japan, or coming out soon in Japan, something like that.
Yeah. And the first 3, the Trails in the Sky, are on PC now. So it's way more accessible, because before it was PSP. Like, this series has been around for quite a while. So
that first game is hard.
Yeah, I really tried to get into that one, and that I bounced off of it. Someday I'll go back when I retire, I guess. Magically have 200 hours. Warhammer Chaos Band coming out on PC, PS4, and Xbox One.
I saw Warhammer, got excited, realized it wasn't a Vermintide game or a real-time strategy game, and immediately didn't care.
Yeah, this one looks super cool because it's a Diablo hack and slash game, and it looks pretty interesting. I'm gonna keep an eye on reviews on this one because as much as I like the real-time strategy and like the turn-based stuff even more, I like that they're trying, like, oh, we're making a Left 4 Dead, we're making a first-person dungeon crawler, we're making a Diablo game. It's like, oh yeah, cool. Just try them all, man.
You can RoboCop that license these days. You can literally pick it up for $1. Like, it's ridiculous. I'm making a Warhammer knitting game.
Great, I love it. Put it on Switch. It'll sell. Slay the Spire comes out on Switch. Speaking of, now that it's out of early access, it's coming out on other stuff.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So it's on our Wii roguelike list. We'll suffer through that at some point. Apparently it's really great, and I don't want to pick it up until then.
Yep.
Yeah. And lastly, Octopath Traveler comes out on Steam. So if you want to check out the cool 16-bit, I say cool. It's not that great. Sorry to.
It's good.
It's not that great.
Whatever.
It's pretty
We'll agree to disagree.
Yeah. Moving on to news stories, a game we know will be great. Nintendo has announced that Cadence of Hyrule is launching on Switch in June. I have a prediction. Whenever Nintendo's E3 Direct is going to happen, available right now on your Switch is Cadence of Hyrule.
And then watch that thing crash.
Yeah.
Watch the e-store crash that day.
Yeah.
The song for that was great.
Yeah, they put out another 60-second trailer. It's still super short, but it looks really good. And there's an Octorok with maracas, and it's just, God, it's really good. I cannot wait to play this. Oh, man. There was a Death Stranding trailer earlier this week, released in what is now going to be the most annoying way on Twitch. If no one watched it, there's a bunch of handprints over the trailer as the trailer looped, and then over time the handprints went away so you could watch the full trailer.
Okay, so it was dumb.
Yeah, dumb in a Kojima way. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the most important thing is it's launching this year on November 8th.
Color me shocked. Color me expecting delays.
I was expecting this to be a PS5 launch title late next year.
Mm-hmm.
For it to come out on PS4 this November, that is genuinely pretty surprising.
Yeah.
And on top of that, they put actual real gameplay with button prompts and everything in the trailer, so we have a little bit better idea of how this game functions.
You say that, but the Metal Gear Solid 2 trailer had Solid Snake running down a hallway getting chased by floods of water.
I mean, if he wants to troll us again like that, I am more than happy to.
The Metal Gear Solid 2 trailer had Solid Snake attacking the oil rig.
Yep.
Not Raiden.
Yep.
It's not our fault that Kojima is a great showman, okay?
Yeah.
He is a fantastic showman.
Yeah.
He's not the greatest showman, but he is a fantastic showman. Come on, dude. Kojima's crazy.
Kojima is crazy. And I think that's
part of the
kind
of crazy that I'll follow.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the reason why I didn't watch the trailer. I've seen little snippets here and there on Twitter, as everyone sees snippets of stuff. Part of the reason why I didn't watch the trailer is because I know I'm going to buy it. It's a Kojima thing. It's probably going to be interesting and not play super great, because not all of his games have played super great. Cough Metal Gear Solid 3's original release.
Yep.
But it'll sure be a ride.
Yeah.
It'll be something something in there will be worth $60, even if it's really just weird. Also, don't name the guy Sam Bridges, for the love of God. That's way too on the nose.
Die Hard, man.
Die Hard, man.
He's the last boss.
No, I think Guillermo del Toro is the last. No, which Guillermo is that? Oh, whatever his name is.
Talking about Benicio del Toro?
No, that's the other guy. Yeah, I'm thinking of Guillermo del Toro, who's in the game in face but not in voice. Which, of course, why not?
Sure.
And apparently they finally put Troy Baker's face in the game. So now he not only voices somebody, but his face is actually in a video game. So he can now quit voice acting in video games. He's made it.
Yep.
Made it to the top.
It's about time.
Yeah. And lastly here, Call of Duty Modern Warfare was announced. And normally this would be like, yeah, whatever, it's another year, another Call of Duty was announced. But there's a couple of things that are different about this one. Number one, no season pass.
Could it be that Activision are learning the error of their ways about 10 years after everybody else?
I doubt it.
No. Probably not. I mean, I think what they know is that for better or for worse, roadmaps sell games now. So they'll put out a roadmap a couple of weeks before the game comes out. They'll be like, oh man, over the next 3 quarters, here's all the free maps we're coming out with, the post-launch events, the free content you'll get. There's a couple of pieces of 4-pay DLC, but when isn't there? You know, the same thing that every game has been putting out lately. Cross-play between PC and consoles.
That would be interesting.
Not something I was really expecting to see, but I think... so, to be clear, there's not an asterisk on here. It does include PS4. So that, from an interesting standpoint, number one, that's gonna suck for console players playing against PC players in PvP.
It depends on if they segregate the lobbies.
Yeah,
because
they haven't really released details, but
and we know now that I think the Xbox at least does have mouse and keyboard support
on some games. Yeah, it's per game, but yeah, something like this will probably have that support, or at the very least, give people the option to say, "Hey, I only want to play against console people. I only want to play against PC people," even if that's not turned on by default. There will be a single player campaign, which did not happen last time, even though it said it would.
What's the bet? This is the single player campaign from last year.
Probably pretty good. Yeah, I think if you're a betting man, then it's probably that, but they just put it in another game. And cooperative missions return, which is, I think, pretty exciting. They're calling them Elite Operations. Those were pretty fun in the past, so I'm happy to see those coming back.
Well, it makes sense. Last year was a zombies year, so this year is a Spec Ops year. Makes sense.
That's right. And then they can sell zombies in 6 months as part of the roadmap.
Yep.
So, which isn't me being negative. I mean, if they want to put a whole new mode in, yes, sell it. Like, whatever. Charge $10-15 for zombies. A lot of people will play it.
$10-15.
I know. I'm trying to be optimistic. It's $30-40 for zombies, and then people play it because, I mean, you launched that 6 months after the game came out. That propels people into next November. Keep them around long enough to put in-game ads for the next Call of Duty game. So, yeah, I think that's going to be pretty interesting. They're selling a lot of story stuff about like the Dark Modern Warfare reboot. That's not stuff I'm really interested in.
Hey, guess what? Modern Warfare was a dark game.
Yeah, remember No Russian? That was pretty dark, everyone.
That was Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, but I mean, that's still, I feel like there are a few tentpole moments from some of those games, and I think they're probably trying to recreate that, and I don't think they've done really well in it since Modern Warfare 2.
So what's the checklist going to be? Die in a nuclear explosion, like Modern Warfare.
Your first character dies in a nuclear explosion, sure.
Kill innocent people, Modern Warfare 2.
Right.
And get your hand chopped off.
Okay. Sure.
Kill your brother.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, so there's 4 guesses at what this dark reboot is going to be, all taken from last installments in the Call of Duty series.
Yeah, it'll be like a greatest hits. Yeah. All right. We're sort of out of time here because my kid is sort of being a butt about taking a nap today. So we're going to save all the emails and questions from this week to next week. We still have one more week before we do recap for E3 because Microsoft starts their press conference as soon as this show starts next week. So that'll be me.
Hello, tumbleweeds. That's the one.
Yes.
For next week's show.
Yeah, boy, next week's show is going to be. If you have questions you want to have on the show, please send them in before next week, because usually this is like the dead week. Nothing comes out. No news stories come out. And we were just talking about this during the break. Like, any news stories that come out are obvious leaks, where it's like, every Pokemon game is coming in one collection on the Switch. It's like, it's not. No, it's not. Stop that. Or it's very clearly like, whoops, Walmart Canada just announced this game for us a week early. Crap. So yeah, if you have any questions, send them on over. Thank you for listening. Our website is tvgp.tv. Everywhere to find and follow us on the right hand side of the page. Come join our Discord. We haven't sold it lately, but still hopping like crazy. We usually have the E3 2019 channel going on. Have a whole bunch of other channels. You want to talk about We Rogue Like It? We've got a channel for that. Game Club, all that cool stuff. patreon.com/E1M1. Ones or numbers, get all the behind the scenes stuff, the early access. You'll get like 2 weeks early access to We Rogue Like It. There's a brand new episode of Old Dog New Flicks out right now.
Legally Blonde.
Legally Blonde, a movie I really love. That is a fantastic movie. So you can hear and listen, see if Moonpeer and Jess liked that movie over at Patreon at the $5 or up level.
Also worth mentioning in regards to that, next month's movie has been chosen, and the month after that we will be putting up a vote.
Great.
For which movie to watch. It's going to be an Arnie special.
Excellent.
So you get
Arnie
to decide
month.
which Arnie my wife watches.
So August is Arnie month?
Yes.
Yeah.
And there is only one correct answer, which you will see when you actually see the poll.
Okay. I will be... I haven't seen the poll or anything, so I will be anxiously awaiting that as well. Game Club right now, we're playing Cuphead. We have 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks left on that or something. Just long enough to not finish it in frustration, which will probably be all of us on the show. And I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Nimp, hit me with those titles.
All right. I have... It's a confusing lineage. When Things Got Loud, We Got Loud.
I got that one too.
Killers Helping Killers.
It's one of my favorites this week.
I Need Help, or I'm sorry, I Need to Escape or Die. Go Hit the Side of a Mountain. You Find It. Rupee Desert.
I wrote down Rupee Dessert.
Yep, I've got that one too.
Nintendo Duke Controller. The Horse Can't Hear You. Don't Want to Do the Dog Encounter.
I really don't.
Oil Slicks Are Still My Favorite. Kitty Robots. Character to Character Addiction. And You Rehydrate.
That's pretty good.
All right, Moon, what do you have?
Bullets rattling around rib cages. Above average killer. He Wouldn't Let Me Die. I Don't Need Another Space Game. Ramshackle Spaceship. Useless Stupid Horse Spirit. Rupee Dessert. Standy Outy Enough. Tap 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 or Step Step Step. Prisoner Paste. Nanogram Knowledge. And that's it. Oh, and You Find It.
I missed one after He Wouldn't Let Me Die. What are like the next two?
I Don't Need Another Space Game. And Ramshackle Spaceship.
Oh, there it is. Ramshackle Spaceship. I have When Things Got Loud, We Got Loud. Now Do Math. Killers Helping Killers. I'm an Above Average Killer. Rupee Desert, You Rehydrate, He Wouldn't Let Me Die, and Ramshackle Spaceship. I like Ramshackle Spaceship, Killers Helping Killers, Rupee Desert, or Dessert is good too, and When Things Got Loud, We Got Loud. Ramshackle Spaceship is just fun to say.
Yeah.
I also like Rupee Dessert.
Yeah. I'm torn between those two.
I like Killers Helping Killers because I feel like that would just make a fun bumper sticker.
I think if you're going to have a bumper sticker, I think Above Average Killer is the bumper sticker of those ones.
True. How about Ramshackle Spaceship? Just because it's fun to say.
Sure.
Okay.
I've seen the spaceship, so I've already got something lined up.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 606 for June 3rd, 2019. Ramshackle Spaceship.
It ain't airtight.
Why am I using a screwdriver to start this?
You know, you might actually. I've never looked. It's that sort of spaceship. Like
my favorite thing is literally it's the thing with the game is When you're near a tree, it refills your oxygen, because that makes sense. It
Yep.
compresses the oxygen and inserts it into your suit.
Yep.
The way they explain the fact that you don't need to wear it in the spaceship is there's like literally like a tiny little window plant next to where you sit.
That's right. Yeah.
The smallest little window plant, and that's the reason why you don't have to have your suit on in the ship.
This game is so dumb and good. I love it. All right. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.